Coming off the game Saturday night, just it was disappointing. Anytime, you lose, especially losing at home, it's one of those things that you go back, you reflect. I appreciated the effort that the guys gave, especially there, the second half. Trying to do everything that we could to get back to win the game. But just all in all, you played a very experienced, talented Wake Forest team. I mean, they've won a lot of games over the last few years, and they've got a quarterback and an offense that was extremely efficient. You look back, it was only a 10-possession game on both sides, and so the each possession that you had offensively, you had to be effective on, and then you look at them. I think they had 4 possessions where they had over 12 play drives, and I thought one of the keys to the games was one, we didn't create takeaways. We turned the ball over, the one time, and then obviously you look at the third and fourth down, conversions on both sides. It was that allowed them to stay on the field. The time of possession was off balance. And then we had offensively, there was one drive, that was one play. We had a couple great opportunities after a great punt return. We get the ball at 35-yard line. Would have got down to inside the 5, but had some negative plays with penalties that pushed us back. You had a sack, the only sack we gave up, but was in that situation. Knocked us out of field goal range, and we got no points in that drive. And you go through, and just every drive was critical. And we just didn't make enough plays there to come out on the positive end of that one. But our guys, they were extremely disappointed, rightfully so. And coaches, players, everybody involved. We know we got to continue to work and get better. And there's plenty of things for all of us to improve on coming out of that game. And I did like the mindset of the work yesterday. Guys came into the weight room. They got after it. They pushed hard. We went out to the practice field after our meetings. There was a definite sense of urgency. There's not been a time, and we pointed this out yesterday. There's not been a time here that I can recall, maybe the bye week, one practice, where effort has been something that I've questioned. When we've been out at practice, when we've been in our preparation, our guys, I really like their mindset towards the work. It was something that showed up on Wednesday, and I pointed out after Wednesday's practice, but also we kind of reflected back. It was just the finer details of execution, the little things, trusting those things in the moment, because you look back at the game, and there were some third down situations where we had just either a miscommunication or a total missed assignment, and those things can't happen in those times. And we've got to coach it better. We've got to go out there, execute it. Stay focused in those critical times. But all in all, I really like the response that our guys had, and I know that they're going to come to work and have a great week. We got an incredible challenge ahead. Get to go on the road. Another top team in our conference, another very experienced team, that's in our league, and we know that we got to go play our best game, and that's all I want to see our team do is go out there and get better. We had the example. Like I said, it physically makes me sick when we come up short, and for us to have the lessons that were learned there Saturday night, we got to, or Saturday afternoon, we got to apply the lessons. We got to go get better. And I know our team's going to do that, and looking forward to the week that's ahead.
First question will be Ira. The fact that you guys had played cleaner games before Saturday, and the fact that you didn't play a very clean game, and they did, and it was still a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. Is that can that be encouraging to the players to realize that against a top 15 team, if they just play a clean game, they may?
Well, you see the response of it. Defensively. We didn't start the way we wanted to. I mean, I say that we had the first drive was good, but then they had some drives, and we're put in some tough situations. The first drive of the third quarter was not very good at all, but you saw that those next few possessions, all right, there's the response. That's what it needs to look like. That's what we're capable of, in that moment against a very good offense, and that was a very good offense. On the flip side, same thing offensively. I mean, there was times in that second quarter when we found ourselves down, and I know I mentioned in the post game and the film showed the same thing, that I thought, and it's not one position. I just thought we started pressing. I thought there was whether it was up front, out wide, in the backfield. I mean, they're just almost trying to do too much, and because of some of the adversity that we had faced, and that's where it was just, guys, take a deep breath, go out there and play. And I was really pleased with what the offense showed there in the second half of being able to go out there and just execute and trust what you saw, take what they're given. Make sure that you're trusting your technique on the different blocks and the things that we had prepared for. And you see that response, and it is encouraging because you pointed out to the players and look, you're capable. But what were the things that were happening early that kept us from that? And then what were even some of the things that happened late that didn't allow us to finish the job? And this is a capable football team. We're still, like I said, we're still growing. We're still learning from the experiences. I want it yesterday. I want it done now. And our guys are like I said, it's not an effort issue. It's something that we just have to be consistent in that, day in and day out. And we've had some success. We've been able to see the positives of that. But when you drop off and you have the penalties that showed up, some of the focus things that showed up, I mean, you can't beat good teams, and we're playing good teams, and that was the difference.
Come over here to Chris.
What feedback did you get from the offensive guys about the first half and how kind of bogged down they seemed to get in that stretch where it struggled? And did Wake do anything up front defensively that was a surprise versus what you expected going in the game?
No, I mean, we started off great first drive, moved down the field. I mean, had some great plays. Second drive, we had a mistake. We ended up having a 3 and out. You had a mistake. Ball got on the ground. They did a good job in their third down play of tackling the short, and that gave them the ball back. Third drive we were able to move it. Fourth drive was a one play turnover, and those are kind of that second, third, and fourth drive. That sequence, there was either mistakes, negative plays, or a turnover that things that we just can't have. And it wasn't so much of necessarily what they were doing. They did a great job. They won the game. They played really well. They contained us in some ways, but ultimately we've got to be able to play cleaner football in those moments. And I think that did contribute to us pressing a little bit. And obviously we were able to settle down, and we had the drive right there before halftime. I thought was really good. Still got it. You'd like to be able to finish that in the end zone, but those you saw a positive response from the offensive guys, and it's just all right. Well, these drives especially in a 10-possession game, these drives all matter. They're all critical against a really high-powered offense and what they were. So unfortunately, it's lessons that are learned, but just really trusting and doing the things that we prepared to do, and you've been able to go out there and for me, there were things that I needed to do better in certain angles and things that just certain calls that I would have liked to have back. And it's all of us together, but it all contributes, and we look at it, we learn from it, and we move forward.
Stay over here for Brendan.
When you have a tough loss like this, and obviously expectations were high, and you mentioned being disappointed, I'm sure players were disappointed afterwards. As a coach, what are you looking for from response immediately after? Like, I'm sure disappointment, but is there stuff that's productive in those moments?
Oh, absolutely. And expectations are always high. It doesn't. My expectation is for us to go play our best every game, and so there's times that you win games and you're disappointed because whether or not we accomplish that, and so. But yes, I mean you come out of that, and what I want to see is I want to see the ownership. I want to see ownership from myself, from coaches, from players. What are the things that contributed to that? Because everything, it all falls on me. Everything that we do within the program, and so you have to be able to self-reflect on all things that have occurred up to this point. To why did we not go out there and be able to capitalize on with the moment that we the opportunity that we had. And so, for us, it's and that's what I appreciate. Are you going to sit there? Are you going to sit there and you can't let one bad experience right, negatively impact the next experience. And you got to be able to learn from it. You've got to be able to take that ownership, and then you got to be willing to apply the lessons that you've learned and go be better. And that's where, like I said, it's it's gut wrenching when you come up short, and like nobody feels good about it. There's not things. The expectation of how we play and the effort we give. That's always going to be there. But I'm proud of the team for who we are and what we've done to get to this point. I just don't want to have that feeling again. So it's our job, it's our responsibility to apply the lessons and to go get better.
We'll go to Allison in the back.
Hey, Coach, not kind of a non-football question, but 3 of your guys have teamed up using their NIL to raise money for hurricane relief. Just for them to continue to give back and to use that platform to benefit others, just what does it say about them in this program?
Well, this is a program that we want to be known for service, and it's something that's one of the core values. When you look at service, sacrifice, and respect, those are the three values of our program. And when there's times of need and opportunities to be able to make an impact to benefit others. Last week at this time there was a lot of questions of what was going to happen in a lot of different places, and it's unfortunate for every person that was impacted. With the hurricane and the storms, and some people lost everything, and to have an opportunity. I know there's a lot of people in this room too that have helped, that are taking an opportunity to go and impact others in a positive way, that you're going through adversity, and I think that's it speaks to the heart. It speaks to the character, and I'm just grateful for those young men and working to make a difference with the platform that they have.
Next week, Kurt, here on the front row.
You talked about a little with the offensive struggles in the first half. Was the pressure Wake seemed to get the defensive line? Was it more what Wake was doing, maybe what they didn't expect? Was it lack of execution at times from the offensive line? And along with that, Robert Scott seemed close to. I know he dressed out. I guess what's his status coming into the week?
It's always a combination. Wake had their plan of what they wanted to do to create pressure. It's something that we've got to continue to do our job and make sure that we trust our eyes, trust our technique, trust our fundamentals, up front in what we're getting and how to combat that. It was they were able to get a good amount of push and sometimes disrupted the pocket for us. And I know it's something that our guys we've done a really solid job of protecting the quarterback throughout this year, and we played some very talented players, throughout and really good groups, early part of the season. So it's something that we've got to grow from. I know. The depth of our offensive line is something that it's been challenged. And when Rob went down, obviously Bless is out for the year. Caden's out for the year. We've got guys that have had to play different spots and move around to new positions, but they're all capable. And for us, it's an opportunity to go out there and to improve and to grow. And with Rob, I'm hopeful. He was able to get a little bit of work yesterday. Hopeful that he is. We'll continue to progress this week, but regardless of where his status is, it's our guys. We need to take that step, and like I said, we got very capable guys up front, and I believe in how they'll respond.
All right, we'll go to Corey in the front.
Mike, without giving away secrets, there's a play. I think it's 2nd and 20 in the second half, maybe after the holding. That backed you up to the 30, where it's a run play. And I don't know if I'm only asking because people are asking me this, like, why is he calling a run on 2nd and 20 when you got Jordan Travis playing like that? Is that an RPO? Is that a decision that your quarterback is making? Is that something you felt like you could expose? And I was going to ask him that because at the end of the second quarter, before the missed field goal, I think you ran it 5 straight times, and Toafili had what I thought was one of the better runs of his career to get that first down. Were you trying to get physical with that defensive line and get some push running the ball like that?
Yeah, there's different things in all scenarios of what you try to attack each week, and we study all all situations, and trying to we're there in the red zone. We just missed a vertical shot, and so trying to get ourselves, whether it's going to be a 2-down territory after that, just kind of where we were on the field range. So all of those factors speak into whether we're going what play we're going to try to design, and what we're going to try to how we're going to try to attack in that situation. So I felt good about the thought. Guy did a great job getting off a block and getting Jordan's leg, and that's kind of part of it in those situations. But ultimately, each sequence is going to have a thought process behind it. So that one didn't work out very well for us, but ultimately, as you go into each drive, if there's something that a team's trying to take away, or if you're having success, or you can find an angle or something that you can create an advantage with, then those are things that you try to exploit. And so we always want to try to establish a run. And there, in the game, there was there was times that you watch their defense. I mean, they're fit in the box with 9 people, and even though run play's called, we're going to have a pass option behind it. And there was times that we were able to create a look to give us a little bit more space and some open lanes and windows. And I thought guys did a solid job of taking advantage of that when we had it. So it's just an ebb and flow of it.
I think you guys, according to the stats, I think you guys targeted Johnny around 9 times. I think when people see his size and athletic ability, people ask, well, how about 10 more? What goes into that in terms of what were they doing defensively with him, and especially in the red zone, could he get more opportunities down there?
Yeah, I thought Johnny did a good job. I thought there was good chances for him in the passing game. I thought we tried to put him in a good spot, of how we were trying to attack with that, and in all reality, Johnny's been working through some things, just even with his body and coming off of being limited early. So we're still bringing him along with that. But he's an incredibly tough individual, and the way that he prepares, the way that he works, I think that our receiving core is playing at a really high level. And even coming out of that game, you look, Johnny did a great job in the opportunities that he had. Micah did a great job in the opportunities. You see, Malik, had a catch down in the red zone. You guys are. It's not that that group is having one area where, this guy's just not making a play, or this guy's not doing that. So I feel like that allows us to play a lot of guys, and definitely Johnny's going to be a key playmaker for us. And each week, we're going to try to get our playmakers the ball in a variety of different ways, and he's taking advantage of the ones that he's getting.
Coach, you enter the week at kicker with the same approach, where you'll give Ryan opportunities in game, and if things don't get executed, you'll pivot in game.
Well, we're going to go into this week and continue to push, continue to evaluate. Last week Ryan made every kick in practice. I felt very confident. You watched pregame, made every kick. Missed a 29-yard field goal right there before the half, and that's. I fully expected him to go out there and make it. And obviously, just with other all other positions, we're going to go into practice. We're going to work. We're going to we're going to push and challenge guys. Everybody gets evaluated, and I promise you, we're going to put the best guy out there that we feel is going to give us the best opportunity to go win games. And Ryan has been that guy. And we're going to go into practice, and I have the utmost belief that he's going to be that guy, because I've seen him do it. I've seen him go out there and be able to execute in the moment. But for us, it's just like there's times where you see receivers that might struggle at finishing a play, or a guy that gets in his head in coverage, or somebody something on the offensive line or defensive line. That's all part of the game and having to work through different situations, and that's something that Ryan's working through. And but I definitely believe that he's going to respond the right way here this week in practice, and then it's got to go apply in the game time.
Mike, obviously you have one of the better quarterbacks in the country, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's throwing it really well. One of the elements of his game, though, is his legs, and through 5 games he's got 50 yards rushing. If you could unleash that a little more, how much could that open it up for your other running backs?
Well, there's also people, it's not a secret that Jordan can run. And so it's, there's people are aware of that. And, you get a lot of challenges if you allow Jordan to get out on the perimeter and you allow him to run. That's a challenge for defenses. So I think people have a good understanding of that. There are some times that we will look to try to create and maybe even force that a little bit. You alluded to one of them earlier, and it's just it's one of those things that you just continue to work, you work through each game plan and finding, hey, where are the times? How can we, create some of those explosives? And then Jordan's done a good job of extending plays, and sometimes it's there's different options that are involved in each play, and it's just taking what the defense gives us. What I don't want Jordan to do, I don't want Jordan to start trying to create something that's not there either. And ultimately, you look, and I think our backs have done a good job, in what we're asking to do. There's been some good run seams for us. I think we've been able to establish that. But ultimately, it's we got to take what the defense gives us. When if they don't want to account for Jordan, it'll be really good for seeing him on the edge, and we've seen that at times in the past. But ultimately, we'll see what shows up, and just continue to work through it.
Next will be Bob over far right.
Hey, Coach, thinking about your various hires, analysts, Derek Ray, people who have helped you as far as roster management, recruiting, transfer portal, how has the operation to you formed just a better program? You hired Derek Ray, I think, in January or so, but these last 9 months, how has it just kind of made Florida State better? No,
I mean, I think just the efficiency of our work, the detail, the evaluation process of making sure, it's such a new age in college athletics, where you were the high school players, you get transfers, you got all the different elements of what it is to try to manage your own roster, but just the staff that we've been able to bring here I think it's a great staff. And whether it's the development of our scouting, of our some of our scouting roles on the offensive defensive side has helped in season and in game, just to even looking at opponents and having that advanced, even a more detailed advanced scouting of what's ahead and who's what we're playing against, and kind of some of the other rosters that we're facing. So I think it's been allowed us to be even more efficient with what we're doing. I think we've got a very talented staff, great people that really enjoy what they do. And I think whether it's a game day experience of recruits when they get on campus to some of the finer details of what it goes through in our evaluation and in-season recruiting to out of season, what we did in summer camp, all that matters. And I think they're doing a great job.
Mike, how did Jared Verse come out after that game? Did he feel good yesterday moving forward?
Yeah, he did. And that was we knew it would be a game time decision at the beginning of the week, because we knew that just with what Jared was working through, he's going to be very limited in practice, and really the first work he got was on Friday. And but what he did a remarkable job was with just his mental preparation, and like whether it's walkthroughs, all the things that he was doing up until that point, he was very locked in and engaged. And he went through walkthroughs. He looked good in what we saw throughout the week as he was coming along, but as I wasn't going to put him on the field unless he was ready to go. And whenever he got done with pre-games, that he felt great. Had looked good the day before. All the things kind of led up, and so we put him on a limited count basis, and I think he ended up getting 23 plays in the game, something around that. I thought he came out well. He felt good yesterday. Just normal little soreness after coming. Just like anything when you're off for a couple weeks, dealing with an injury. But I expect him to have a good week in prep and continued rehab, and hopefully we'll be able to get even more out of him as we're moving forward.
Come back to Brendan up here.
Do you have an update on how Fabian Lovett's doing and how he's progressing? Then we saw Jackson West on the sideline with crutches. I think it was the first time we've seen him. I guess, what's his prognosis? Will he be available this season?
Both those guys, fully anticipating to be back. Will be back. Here this year, and they're going to continue to. Fabian is doing a really good job with his rehab, and we'll see as things go. It's Jackson. His availability here in the next week or so, we'll probably get a better sense of that. But both those guys are coming along, and excited to be able to get them back out there soon.
Next will be Carter on the left.
Mike, what'd you learn about NC State against Clemson, and what are just kind of your overall impressions of them?
I mean, they're a really good football team. I mean, probably one of the more complete teams. This is very talented. Their defense is one of the best in the league, in the country. I mean, they've done a really nice job. Just with how hard they play, the scheme of what they run. Coach Gibson, I've known for a long time, and I think he does as good a job as anybody. In what he does to showcase the talents and abilities of his players, and he's got big, strong, fast players, and they play at a very high level. Obviously you flip that over to the offensive side, and their quarterback, Devin Leary, is unbelievable arm talent, can locate the ball all over the field. He's got a variety of receivers, whether it's guys of great size that can push the ball down the field. Their slot. Number 5 is we've watched him for the last few years. He had a great game against us when we went up there last time, and he's a really, really good player. And when you sit there and you watch the way that they utilize him, and just the way that they're very much like they're gonna try to establish the run game. That's something that they're gonna do. They've got to do a great job in their schemes and how they try to attack. But then you've got to be able to account for them pushing the ball vertically down the field. They're great in their spacing concepts and being able to attack you if you're playing zone coverage. And the quarterback makes it all go. He can locate the ball in very tight windows, and is a really good football player. So they've showed this year what we know. I mean, they're a good football team, and I think their ranking speaks to that. They went in a very tough atmosphere, in Clemson last Saturday night, and they competed their butts off, and much like us, they came up a little short, and so you're sure you're going to find two teams Saturday night that are both hungry and both going to give everything they have, to get the desired outcome.
All right, last one will be Ira.
That's a tough stadium to play in, and it has traditionally been for Florida State. But you guys seem like played very well away from home early this season. What did you like about the team's approach when you guys went on the road earlier this season, and what's the key to doing that?
Yeah, just the key is to focus on things that you can control. There's going to be a lot of things Saturday night that we don't control. I mean, and it's going to be a loud atmosphere. It's going to be I'm sure it's going to be an exciting feeling to be able to play in that game, and there's going to be a lot of passion that's out on the field. We've got to make sure that we control us, that we don't get distracted by all the things that are around us. That you go out there and you play your game, and it's our guys, they understand that mindset. We try to. It's part of even like going back into fall camp of one of the reasons that we go to Jacksonville. We take them away from home. We try to make them uncomfortable, and we try to find challenging practices that where it comes down to them. They've got to bring the emotion, the focus, the detail, and I think that's helped us here early in the season. And it's going to be a great challenge come Saturday night, and we're going to have to make sure that we bring those lessons that we've learned of what we can do away from home and try to apply them there Saturday night.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you.